get any further, let me look at these questions here. Sorry about that, I noticed the flicker here. What if you write a check from one account to another bank? Well, what you would do is cut a check, either miscellaneous or from a vendor. You might have a petty cash vendor, but you're going to use that checkbook that you're cutting it out of, and then you're going to record it as a other AR or another receipt to the bank that you're going to deposit that check into. Does that make sense? Because I cut it out of this checkbook and I'm going to deposit it into this one. The other questions I got, I currently have 2 bank accounts set up on bank recs and can't get it to work right with the rec if we write checks. I probably have to see your system. I'm not sure what would be going on there. We'd have to probably do some digging in your data and see where things are hitting. Okay. So in this perfect world of mine, my difference would be 0, and I'd be able to go ahead and reconcile, and it would take all the transactions that I marked and it would move them to history. If I'm not done, because right now I've got a difference, I can just hit OK, and I can hit save, and come back to it a couple hours later when I've cleared my head, because I'm frustrated, and I can just go right back into it. We'll ignore that, and I can continue work. So I can save it and come back. If I want to look at reports before, these are the same reports you're going to get when you reconcile, but if I want to see them before I reconcile, there's a print icon on the bottom of your window, and you can pick and choose which reports you want to see. So you're going to get these exact same ones when you actually reconcile, but this is going to be pre-reconciliation. So I don't know, if for some reason, I'm still out of balance, and I'm not sure if I've marked everything. I mean, I could go ahead and print that list out, see what I have marked, and compare it to the statement. So you can get these before you reconcile. Let me go ahead and just shoot them off to the screen so you kind of see these, because obviously I can't reconcile this checkbook the way it is. So you're going to get your statement ending balance, outstanding checks, and again, this is by that cutoff date. If I don't put a cutoff date, that may be very inflated. I've got deposits in transit, my just bank balance, and here's my checkbook balance, any adjustments that I've made, and theoretically these two should be in balance and we'd have a 0 difference. Then you're going to get a posting register for anything that you booked inside a reconciliation that updated your general ledger. You're going to get a marked transaction list. It breaks it up by payment type and deposit type at the bottom, but it's pretty much just a list of what I've marked. And then I'm going to get an outstanding list, and this is going to match those totals off of your reconciliation report. So you can see if I didn't put a cutoff here, I'd get transactions way into the future past my reconciliation date. Okay, I can actually delete this. It's not deleting any transactions, it's not deleting the checkbook, but it's deleting everything that I just marked, and then when I bring this checkbook up again, I can just start over. So if I hit delete here, all the work that I just did, since I didn't reconcile, is gone, and I'm just starting over from scratch. Okay. Any questions on that? I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Yes?
It just seems that you have to, before you can get started, reconcile it to the bank balance. You have to reconcile the book, the checkbook, to the GL balance.
Yeah, we're talking about that next.
Okay. And then
yeah. It's just because you can reconcile in here does not mean that the world is happy. You need to balance it to your cash account, and I'm going to show you some things about that. Because like I said before, somebody can post something directly to your cash account, and it's not going to flow into your bank rec, and then, you know, you're going to be off. You're like, why is my cash different than what I just reconciled to? And a lot of people choose not to use bank rec module.
Yeah, all your deposits are every single check. You're going to have to add them up to see
Yeah.
if that was deposit.
Yeah, because GL, you're probably...
we don't have deposits like that. We have a separate AR module. We don't use great things for AR. So our deposits come in at one time.
Well, that's usually okay.
Yeah, because they're using like a medical billing program.
And just, you know, just so that you catch any adjustment entries that are made.
Yeah, and I mean, that's going to be an issue for anybody, you know, because
The trick is to never do anything to your cash account
without doing the other module. I mean, and that's really, if you're going to use bank rec,
You have to.
that's what you need to do. That's exactly right. That's where I'm going, Dee. Hold on. Okay, so here's some little things that we were just talking about in the group. Is even though I can reconcile in here, my cash account, you know, may be different. So some things that you can do, at least to start, is under the Smart List, you can go to Account Transactions, and you can set up a Smart List restricting to maybe one account number for like maybe a specific date range. Let's see. I'll start with the default one, and I'll run through this. Let's look at 1100 there. So I'm going to set up some search criteria, and I'm going to say just give me my account number, 1100, and I want transactions between, so you've got different filters here. Oops. Whatever month I'm trying to reconcile. And I might have a whole lot of transactions, so you want to make sure that you get everything. So you might want to bump up your max records on your Smart List search. Okay. I would probably start by sorting by series here and get all the financial records all together. You can actually just restrict by that series if you wanted. Because theoretically, everything coming from the other modules should be right? So if you're out of balance, the first thing that I'd start looking at would be, what are these financial transactions? Were they general journal entries that were booked directly to my cash account that didn't get recorded in my bank rec module? That's the first place that I would start looking. Of course, there's always coding errors, user coding errors, and those you're just going to have to hunt and peck for with a detailed trial balance on your cash account, and or detailed trial balance, depending on where they coded those things to. So this is just like the beginning step. It may get deeper than that, as you all know that have reconciled bank accounts before. The other report that I'd like to show you is just a canned report that some people like to print out before they start reconciling. Under your financial reports, you've got bank posting journals. These are reprints, so anything that I just have reconciled and I didn't print out those reports before, I can reprint here, except for the outstanding checklist. I can reprint anything here. The outstanding checklist is kind of a point in time, so it's not there and recreatable, but I can print out these others. And there's bank history that I can reprint, so any transactions that I entered, bank distribution if I needed to. So you can reprint some of those reports. You've got checkbook reports, and this is kind of where I'm going next. You can just print out a list of your checkbooks. You can print out a check register. Some people use these very often because you've got different options here. I can restrict it to a certain checkbook, whether I want to include reconciled, unreconciled items, or voided items, so that you can reprint out a register to see what you've got in your checkbook at the time, at a particular time, because you can restrict by date. The other one that I'm going to show you is the undeposited receipts. So, you know how we were talking about you may have a whole bunch of receipts in there that you're not aware of. You might want to print this out before you start reconciling to see if you've actually grouped them all and made a deposit for them. So this would be handy to do. Create an option for undeposited receipts and look at that report before you start. And of course, your general ledger trial balance. You can set up an option. I've set up an option for a monthly cash account. And so I've set this up so I don't have to come in here and change my dates every single time. I'm restricting to a particular cash account that I reconcile. You know, you can put a different range in here. You can create multiple of these for each account. It's totally up to you how you set up these options. And I'm saying, telling it to give me the beginning balance for the previous period to the end of the previous period. So give me last month's detailed transactions. And what I've done, and this is just, you know, whatever, I've set up a task for me. I don't know if you guys use your home pages or tasks or anything like that. And I put a reoccurrence to print my monthly bank rec reports, which includes my my undeposited and my cash details. So that's the first thing that I want to do is my task here to print out my reports that I'm going to use before I even start reconciling. And when you set up a task in GP, you can do a reoccurrence. And I've got this to print to